civilization started because of the intuitive nature of the human being. Otherwise, we would have been on the trees and the branches way. Right? And this is what the great physicist who is still alive, and you all know his name, Stephen Hawking. And he is the one who said that this civilization, you can read that I quote it, ever since the dawn of civilization, people have not been content to see events unconnected. They want to know what is happening everywhere. And inexplicably, they have craved for understanding of the underlying order in the world. Humans' deepest desire for knowledge is justification enough for our continuing quest. We will continue this. Now, all other modern medicine, modern things, the research also started probably from the biblical times with various things. We will see at the end what started it. And of course, the Hippocrates. And his book on airs, the waters and phases, it gives a lot of relationship between, he enunciates relationship between these elements and the human health. Now, there are a large number of the events that took place one after the other. You all know well. The late vitamin C and the scurvy is one of the oldest ones, sometime in 1747. Next, you have the Edward Jenner, the vaccination, prevention of smallpox, leading to prevention of smallpox, and that is the first disease that has been eradicated from the world because of the beginning of age here. They are all forming the part of the history of the research. John Snow is considered as the father of modern epidemiology, and he is the one who investigated the epidemic of cholera in London before they know of the bacteria. Right? And from that time onwards, he prevented that cholera epidemic in London, and he laid the foundation for the epidemiology, who is called the father of field epidemiology. Next, you have is similarly hand washing by the doctors before they enter any obstetrics and gynae wards and examining the patients. Goldberger, he is the one who related the pellagra with the male diet, nicotinic acid and all that. He is the one who started. A lot of these inventions came because of the careful observation of those days, even before people thought of what is the research methodology and all that. So these are the foundations that lay the various research methodologies. And the basic thing came in sometime mid 1940s and 1950s, where there was a fluoridation of the drinking water and evaluation of the community health. That was the big research method that went on, project, and laid the foundation for different methods. And of course, the famous Donald Hill, the tuberculosis, the relation between the lung cancer and the cigarette smoking, it is considered as a landmark in the various research methods. Even now, everyone quotes, right? And I do remember Dr. Lata sometime asking why we always quote this in various studies. The reason is it is the watershed in the research methodologies. Now, this John Snow, as I mentioned, is the father of epidemiology, and basically the research, it means the gathering of the data from various sources and the facts for the advancement and their interpretation. That is the basic thing. But there is a definition, we will see that what is the accepted definition of research. This word research consists of two words, as you can see here, read, R-E-read, and search. Read means again, second time, suppose, anything can be meaning of that. It is a prefix meaning again, anew, over and again. Search, the second word, is a verb meaning to examine closely. When we both combine together, it becomes an independent word, research, which means the systematic, careful, patient studies and investigation in some fields of knowledge undertaken to establish the facts which are not known. This is the basic origin of the word research. Now this is the definition accepted which was initiated by M. Last. In his dictionary of epidemiological terms he used, and what he says is, it is the organized quest for the new knowledge based on curiosity or based on perceived needs. Research may consist of systematic empirical observation or hypothesis testing and use of a pre-planned research design such as experiment. This is as given in the dictionary, not the ordinary Oxford dictionary. There is separate dictionary for epidemiological terms. Now, many a time, research methodology and clinical epidemiology, they use it as synonymous, which is not a really synonymous. Research is a broad term. It can be used for any field. It can be industry, it can be agriculture, it can be veterinary, it can be space. It is a process, research. It can be used anywhere. Whereas epidemiology is specifically dealing with the human beings. As you know of it, demos indicates the humans, and epi means what happens on these humans. That is to find out the distribution and determinants of the disease process and various things. That is epidemiology. Research is a broad term. Epidemiology is towards the narrow term, but many a time clinical epidemiology and the research methodology are used as synonyms, but they are different. Now, the question is, most of the people who have done a lot of studies, they are MBBS, they are postgraduates, postdoctoral thesis they have done. Why should we be teaching them the research methodology? What is the purpose? That is what many of you must be asking. Let us see if there are some answers to that. Now, we all are basically dealing with the clinics. Maybe the patient seeing in different capacities. Maybe someone is neurologist, someone is orthopedician, someone is a general physician, somebody is a surgeon. We all are somewhere or other involved in the patient care. Research basically, we all are utilizing what is called the knowledge that has been given down to us by our predecessors because of their intuitive analysis and the observations they made, and they passed it on to us. We are using those knowledges. Now, one of the basic things why we should be doing is, it requires, in addition to our clinical knowledge and experience, a reasonable knowledge of the principles and practices of the research methods. Otherwise, what we feel as right because of our inquisitiveness, we may pass it on as a right to our successors, which may not be right. Because unless it is proved by various methods that what I have observed, what I have concluded is acceptable, otherwise my successor generation may follow what I am telling as the right thing and follow that. We know many such things keep happening. Today some physics theory comes, tomorrow that theory is proved to be wrong. Day after something else comes, after that it is proved to be wrong. So the clinical practice goes on because of the intuitive conclusions we make, and we would like to make those conclusions based on proper methodology so that the humans are in general benefited, our practice is correct. All of us doctors are consumers of research done by the others, as I mentioned to you, applying their research to our patients. Our own research will be used by our colleagues of the next generation. It is something like this. If you don't have a proper method, you can see this is something called a fuzzy logic. Somebody came with this logic. Whiskey and water gives a kick, rum and water gives a kick, vodka and water gives a kick. Conclusion, common thing is the water, so you drink, you get a kick. We all know it is wrong, right? So whatever the derivation we get, it should be proper and acceptable. Now, why do we do the research? Any of these things can be. To get a degree, maybe a PhD person, to get respectability that I have done a lot of research like that, to face the challenge, to solve a problem if you feel that there is a problem, to get intellectual joy, there are people, to serve the society, right? By raising this kind of living. Now there are different types of researches are there. There are different types of researches based on any one of these three classifications, we may call it, the types of researches we may call it. It is based on application of the research study or we apply. It can be on the objectives we have set for the research, or it may be inquiry mode employed by the researcher. Any one of these can be the use of classification. Only just I touch upon them. It can be pure research, it can be applied research. Pure research is basically for progress of the knowledge. It may not be used immediately for the application. Later it may be applied, that is a different issue. Right? For the present, I am saying we are using the magnetism. Someone discovered the magnetism. Now at that point of time, it was pure application is not there. It was a pure principle, and later it was applied for various things. Similarly, say the passing of the electrons, you may call it. Similarly, the heartbeats, say physiology, various aspects we know. They are all principles involved. Later they are applied in various disease processes. The second is the applied research, where we apply the principles that we have learned. Now the second one is the different types of researches. Descriptive, it can be correlational. We will see what they are, explanatory and exploratory. They are based on the different objectives. What is the objective of your research? Depends upon any of these things. Now the descriptive research attempts to describe a kind of, say, disease process or health process. How many people are healthy? How many people are suffering from diabetes? It is only descriptive. What is the type of disease that is Ebola is giving? What is the clinical picture considered to be? So this is only descriptive. That is, you want to find out about the clinical picture of a disease. That is the descriptive study. Now the second one is correlational. You want to find out the relationship between two different variables or two different characteristics. Say you want to find out the BMI relationship between the BMI and diabetes. The relationship you are trying to find out. That is what is called correlational. Between two or more aspects of a situation. Explanatory, you are trying to explain how the BMI obesity is likely to cause the diabetes. You are trying to explore further. That is what is called explanatory. Finally, you have exploratory. You are trying to find out some field which is not yet studied, but you have some intuitive feeling they are related to, right? And a new path layout, that is exploratory. That is where pilot studies and all that they come up. Finally, you have the inquiry mode, structured approach, unstructured approach. Let us not get into this. We will go to the further. Now, finally, the goal of all the medical research that we are going to carry out, ultimately, it has to lead to the improved health of the society and to find out what are the conditions that are making the what are the conditions that are leading to the sickness and how we can restore the health of the human beings. That is the ultimate aim as far as we are concerned. That is the medical field research, right? The goal of medical research is to improve the health, and the purpose is to learn how systems of the human body function, why we get sick, and how to get back the health and stay fit. That is the ultimate aim of the research, whatever way we do it. Sorry. Now, there are large number of benefits. We will not get into that at the moment. There are certain 6 qualities are there what a good research should have. That I think the next speakers and all that will tell that. Ethics. Whatever the research we are going to do, it has to have some ethical consideration. That we are going to not to tell, finally, beyond the moral do not, to what we should affirmatively do, that is concerned for the integrity of the work, not copying from here and there, not hiding the facts, not manipulating the data. That kind of ethics should always be followed. Of course, the welfare of the person on whom you are carrying out the research should be there. In addition to construction of bond with any community, ethics deal with a range of moral and immoral choices. You have to be careful. Since you are a doctor, you are dealing with the human beings, communities. When you are doing a research, you have a careful ethical consideration. Now these are some of the things like plagiarism, that is cut and paste from somebody which is accepted and make it as your own, that kind of thing. Claiming credit for the results of others, data with questionable accuracy, concealing the objections that cannot be rebutted, caricaturing or distorting the opposing views, destroy or conceal sources and data for those who follow. These are some of the things which take a serious turn if they are detected. Now the research process ultimately is something like you are following a path to reach a destination. So you have a path, you have a destination. Similarly, in the research methodology, the path is considered as a methodology you are following to reach the ultimate goal, what you are aiming at. Research process has these ones, which my esteemed guest speakers, some of them will be speaking on many of these ones. You have the selection and formulation of the research problem. Selection of the problem is the greatest one, is the heart and soul of the research, which we call research question. One of the guest speakers is dealing on that. Literature survey, development of working hypothesis, research design, again someone is dealing with that. Sampling strategy and sampling design, pilot study or a quick study, data collection, processing and analysis, testing hypothesis, interpretation and generalization. Many of these steps the speakers are going to deliver their lecture, you can hear that. And finally, preparation of the report, that also someone is talking today, how to prepare a scientific paper for publication and what are the good, bad things and all that. This is to come back to that, right? It is said that the whole research, whole humanity, entire civilization was because of 3 apples. That the first one, you can see, one seduced the Eve, right? And the whole human race came up. Second one, the Newton, and because of that apple, the entire research came up. Finally this, right? What we are having today, iPods, iPads, right? So this is what we are today, and I close it here. I'll request the chairperson to call the next one. I can take 2 questions and the other speakers also. If you have any questions, for each speaker 2 questions are permitted. You can ask, but be sincere in asking a question. Question is to be asked either to improve your knowledge or to know something which is not known, not just for the heck of it. Right? Any question, please?
Students are stationed with their mics, so 2 questions. Anybody having question, please raise your hand, they'll come to your spot.
I suppose there are no more questions. Thank you, sir.